Wife left me for my richer brother after I got laid off, only for him to cheat on her. Now she's homeless and begging me to take her back. I'm a 34-year-old guy, the kind of person who never imagined life could flip upside down so quickly. Until recently, I believed I had a stable marriage, 8 years of companionship, shared dreams, and a comfortable routine. We rented a modest house in a quiet suburb. I worked a regular job, the sort that paid bills without making us rich. My wife used to say she liked our cozy life. Yet everything changed the moment I got laid off. It happened without warning. The company downsized. I was part of a mass layoff. I came home with a severance package in one hand, dread in the other. My wife's reaction was far colder than I expected. She didn't console me or express sympathy. Instead, she scowled. That night, she hardly spoke to me at dinner, just pushed her food around. I tried reassuring her. I had savings to cushion us for a while, plus I'd start job hunting immediately. She nodded stiffly, muttering something about, "This is exactly what I feared." It felt like a punch, but I brushed it off as stress. I thought we'd weather it together. About a week later, my older brother swooped in. He's known for his financial success. Over the years, he soared up some corporate ladder. We were never super close, but we got along decently. He visited, offered me leads or tips on networking. My wife, usually aloof around family, lit up in his presence. She peppered him with questions about his fancy apartment, his travels, his expensive hobbies. I found it odd, but told myself it was normal curiosity. After all, we just lost my income. As time passed, I noticed her ignoring me more, texting a lot while smirking at her phone. She'd mentioned how my brother was so helpful, how he'd invited her out for coffee to discuss potential job leads for me. I felt a small pang of jealousy, though I also felt grateful he wanted to assist. But a quiet suspicion started creeping in. Something about the way she talked about him, the new glow in her eyes whenever his name popped up, set me on edge. Then, one day, she casually mentioned he'd offered her a ride to the mall, just the two of them. I asked if that was weird. She snorted, calling me paranoid. A few more weeks passed, and my job search was in full swing. I had some promising interviews. My wife, however, acted distant, sometimes vanishing for hours with flimsy excuses, like helping your brother pick out suits. I tried to trust her. Maybe it was some misguided attempt to give me a better connection. Then came the bombshell. I came home from an unsuccessful interview to find house half emptied. Her clothes, shoes, toiletries were gone. I found a hastily written note on the kitchen table. "Sorry, but I can't live like this. I need security. I'm moving in with your brother. We've grown close. I want a better future." My mind spun. She left me for my own brother, the richer sibling, all because I lost my job? The betrayal hit like a sledgehammer. I sat in the living room, the light fading outside, reading and rereading that note, my heart pounding with disbelief. Then came anger, white-hot fury at their duplicity. She'd been planning this for who knows how long. My father or mother might have guessed something, but they're not part of the immediate picture here. I realized just how thoroughly my wife had abandoned me, chasing a wealthier life. At first, I sank into a dark slump, unemployed, blindsided, humiliated. My brother texted me, claiming it just happened, that they fell in love. Hard to believe it was coincidence. The heartbreak and bitterness consumed me for days. Friends urged me not to mope, but I couldn't help feeling worthless. My own brother had everything, money, status, and now took my wife. But time doesn't stop. Eventually, I started regaining my footing. I landed a part-time gig that promised to evolve into something stable. With a bit of hustle, I found a cheaper place to live, leaving behind the old house rife with painful memories. The separation from my wife was straightforward enough. No kids, no property in both names, so we arranged the minimal paperwork. I felt battered but determined to rebuild. I heard occasional updates, rumors that my wife was living lavishly with my brother in his fancy condo. She boasted on social media about fancy dinners, weekend getaways. Fine. I didn't stalk her posts, but mutual acquaintances sometimes gossiped. They implied she gloated about upgrading to a richer husband figure. The sting remained, but a strange calm also settled. She'd made her choice. Then, months later, an unexpected twist unraveled. I heard from a cousin that my brother had been caught cheating on my wife with some colleague from his job. The news spread quietly, but inevitably. My cousin said there were hush-hush rumors of them hooking up at corporate events. My brother's unstoppable appetite for the next best thing apparently extended to romantic conquests. I felt an ironic pang, so my ex-wife left me for him, only to get cheated on. Life can be darkly poetic. I try not to dwell on it, not wanting to indulge in schadenfreude. But I'd be lying if I said I felt no satisfaction. She'd scorned me as inadequate, ran to my brother's bigger wallet, only to discover that money can't buy loyalty. My father or mother might have found out, but I didn't ask. This was my brother's circus, not mine. Instead, I poured my focus into stabilizing my new job. Slowly, I clawed my way up. After a few months, I earned a decent position with benefits. Life was still modest, but stable enough. Then one day, while I was on a lunch break, my phone buzzed with a call from an unknown number. I answered, only to hear my ex-wife's trembling voice. She spoke quickly, sounding both frantic and ashamed. She stuttered out that she'd left my brother because he cheated, kicked her out of his fancy condo in a fit of rage after she confronted him, apparently. Now, with no place to go, she realized she had nowhere else to turn. She actually had the gall to say, "I'm so sorry for what happened. I see now how I made a mistake. Can we talk?" My heart thudded with conflicting emotions: anger, vindication, curiosity. At first, I considered hanging up, but I ended up hearing her out. She said my brother had told her to pack up and vanish, that she was worthless to him now. She'd essentially become homeless, couch surfing with a distant friend. She insisted she recognized how shallow she'd been, that she'd let greed ruin something real with me. She asked if we could meet and discuss a second chance. My mouth went dry. The nerve of her. After all she'd done, ditching me in my darkest hour, flaunting her new lifestyle, now that crash, she wanted me back? A swirl of resentment and pity churned inside. I told her I'd think about it. She pressed, "I know you're hurt, but I changed." I ended the call unsettled. Over the next few days, she texted me repeatedly, referencing how she realized I was truly a good man, how my brother's wealth didn't compensate for his cheating ways. She wrote lines like, "We can still salvage our love," or "I was so naive." My rage flared. She never showed me love when I needed it. She used me as a stepping stone, then stepped over me. Admittedly, a part of me was curious if she truly regretted. But I recognized a pattern. She was just seeking stability again. She'd lost her fancy condo, discovered my brother's unfaithfulness, and now yearned for the comfort of my loyal personality. She saw me as the safe fallback. That realization gave me clarity. I'd be damned if I let her waltz back, especially after her betrayal. So I refused to respond, ignoring her pleas. She grew more desperate, texting that she was effectively homeless, that her friend's place was too cramped, she had no money. That stung, remembering how quickly she'd left me, because I supposedly wasn't stable enough. Now she was the one on shaky ground. She even tried calling me at odd hours, once leaving a tearful voicemail about how my brother's new mistress stole him. The hypocrisy was staggering. Despite my ignoring her, she wouldn't quit. She showed up unannounced at my new apartment building one afternoon. I opened the door to find her standing there, eyes puffy from tears, wringing her hands. She tried to step inside without being invited. I blocked her gently, stepping onto the porch. She started, "Look, I know you hate me, but please can I come in?" "I'm so sorry." My chest tightened, recalling the heartbreak she inflicted. I told her we could talk out here, not inside. She launched into a sob story, how my brother had turned out to be a monster, how he verbally abused her, then cheated. She realized she was naive to think money equaled happiness. She apologized for leaving me when I lost my job, claiming she was scared of poverty. I listened in silence as she groveled, tears streaming, painting herself as a misguided fool. Then came her big request. "Please let me stay with you until I get back on my feet. I'll do anything." I almost laughed at the audacity. She'd left me at my lowest, ran to my brother's wealth, and now wanted me to rescue her? I calmly told her that wasn't an option. She tried to argue, but we were married once, we shared so much. My mind flashed to the memory of that note she left me, all those humiliating months. I said no, plain and simple. Her tears dried, replaced by anger. She hissed, "I can't believe you'd be so cruel." The irony. She called me cruel for refusing to be her safety net, ignoring how she was downright heartless and leaving me for a man with deeper pockets. She threatened to smear me if I didn't help. Claimed she'd tell people I was emotionally abusive, that she only left me because I was dangerous or incompetent. I smirked, telling her no one would believe that after the fiasco with my brother. People saw how she hopped from me to him the moment I lost my job. If she tried to spin more lies, I'd be ready with the receipts, our conversation logs, her note about leaving for my brother. Furious, she spat that I'd regret this. I shut the door, letting her stand there, fuming. In the following days, she tried every trick. She posted on her social media vague references to men who can't forgive or claiming she was kicked to the curb. Some acquaintances asked me what was going on. I told them the truth. She left me for my brother, that collapsed, and now she demanded I take her back. People shook their heads, siding with me. She might spin illusions, but the facts were indisputable. My father, if we have father or mother, might have called me about it, but let's keep them out of the main plot. The important part, I wasn't budging. Then she stooped to a new low. She threatened to file for spousal support. But we parted ways with no children, no joint assets. Legally, we had minimal entanglements, so her threat was empty. Next, she tried emailing me an apology letter. The letter ranted about how everyone deserves a second chance, how she was manipulated by my brother's charm. She ended it with, "We can still fix this." My eyes rolled at the blatant rewriting of history, painting herself as a victim. I never responded. Meanwhile, rumors circulated that my brother had thrown her out after discovering she confronted his mistress in a dramatic showdown, which ended with him telling her to get lost. So now she truly had nowhere. Some said she couch-surfed among short-lived acquaintances or tried reconciling with older friends she previously ditched. Her pattern of burning bridges left her with few allies. One friend told me she approached them, sobbing that I'd refused to rescue her. They kindly suggested she get a job, find her own place. She apparently stormed off, calling them unsupportive. Finally, I decided enough was enough. I reached out to a lawyer just to confirm I had no liabilities if she tried something else, like forging claims on marital property. He confirmed we were in the clear, as we parted ways with minimal marital ties. I was free, so I resolved to finalize the end of contact. If she showed up again, I'd call security or even the police if needed. A week later, she tried one last ambush, cornering me at my workplace parking lot. She hopped out of a borrowed car, tears streaking her face, wailing about how she realized her mistake, how she was drowning. My coworkers in the lot gawked. She tried to fling her arms around me. I stepped back, telling her firmly, "It's over. You chose my brother's wealth over our marriage. Now you want to come back because that blew up. I'm not your safety net." She sobbed, saying she'd do anything, be a better wife, accept a simpler life. My heart hammered with residual hurt, but I refused to let pity overshadow her betrayal. I told her I'd never trust her again, that she inflicted too much damage by discarding me in my darkest hour. She hammered a final guilt-laced line, "I only left because you lost your job." I was scared of poverty. I answered, "And now you've discovered the cost of chasing money." "I'm done." She shouted a slur, tears streaming, then stumbled off, cursing me. My coworkers, wide-eyed, patted my shoulder sympathetically. That meltdown was the last I saw of her face to face. I heard from a friend that she ended up crashing in a cheap motel, desperately seeking a job. My brother. He was living carefree, presumably with his mistress. They parted ways, no regrets on his end. The dust settled, leaving her alone, homeless, the same woman who once boasted about leaving me for a better life. The poetic justice wasn't lost on me. I can't claim I found triumphant joy in her downfall. Part of me pitied her, someone so fixated on wealth that she'd sabotage genuine love. Yet I also felt validated that I'd withstood the heartbreak, found a new job, and stayed loyal to my own dignity. If she ended up disowned or scorned by others, that was on her. She brought it upon herself by betraying me, then clinging to my brother's money, only to face betrayal in turn. Friends sometimes ask if I'd ever consider letting her back in. The answer is a resounding no. My mental peace and self-respect mean more than rekindling something built on shaky foundations. She didn't just lose me when she walked out for my brother. She also lost the chance to prove she loved me beyond convenience. That door is closed. Now life moves on. I rent a new place, continuing my new job with decent pay. My father or mother might ask about the fiasco, but I keep it minimal. She left, she got cheated on, tried returning. I said no. People nod, acknowledging it's for the best. My brother apparently never apologized, which is fine. I have no interest in bridging that gap. As for my ex-wife, last I heard, she hopped from couch to couch, lamenting how life's unfair. Some acquaintances told me she's tried online fundraisers, spinning sob stories about, lost everything, husband cheated. She leaves out that she was the unfaithful one first. Well, maybe not physically unfaithful, but left me for my brother's wealth. Typical rewriting. No matter. People who know me realize the truth. In the end, I found a cautious calm. The heartbreak taught me how quickly love can morph into cold betrayal if money gets in the mix. She left me for a richer brother after I got laid off, only for him to cheat on her. Now she's homeless, begging me to take her back. And I denied that final request. My revenge, if you can call it that, is simply living well without her drama, letting her face the consequences of her greed. It's a tragic story, but one that reaffirms my faith in forging a future with someone who values loyalty over luxury. She made her choice, and so did I. No regrets.